Hey everybody, it's Kelly O'Black for this week's Free Flow Wednesday. This is our inspiration board, and I totally loved that lighter sort of minty green on the right. It also looked kind of aqua-like to me as well. So I'm going to do a monochromatic layout with that color. I also was trying to decide between these two nature photos. And that one I liked, but it blended into the background because I'm using that minty aqua green. And this photo that has more blue in it stood out. And because there's quite a bit of blue in that color, that works really well. And then I did pull the nature photo from the fact that there were nature elements in the inspiration board. So I'm going to take this piece of paper, is the whole paper that inspired me to do that that green color, because I thought of it when I saw that green color when I looked at the board this time, because this is my second layout this month. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gut the paper and just use it as a border because I love this black and white floral on the background. This paper is from Amy Tangerine +1, which is a really old collection, and it's called Persistent. You know, and I guess I could have just used the whole thing because I obviously haven't used that floral yet, but just hasn't been quite the right layout. So anyway, I'm gutting it. I know that there's about a ½ inch on either side before the white starts, so I'm going to use my little trick here of just putting the adhesive on one side when you're mounting on a frame, and it doesn't completely work. I had to take it back up and kind of start again here. But if you put it only on one side, your underneath paper won't buckle as you put the paper over the top there. So that's why I do that. Now that striped paper, before I forget, is from Amy Tangerine. It's from a 12 by 12 paper pad I have, and that is the Rise and Shine from the Rise and Shine collection. I cut that leaf paper there. That is from Amy Tangerine Better Together, and the paper is Soap and Water, and the whole nature thing inspired the leaf paper, plus there's a tree in the foreground on the upper left of my photo, so that just kind of made sense. Then I'm going to use that polka dot paper as a mat, and that paper is from Amy Tangerine Finders Keepers Expedition. So when I thought of this green, I knew Amy Tangerine had some of these minty greens in her lines, so I just went right to my Amy Tangerine Cropper Hopper file and use that. Now I'm inking with my Memento Dewdrop Gray Flannel ink, which you all know is my beloved ink of choice, but I really kind of, it's messy. I get it, you know, a little bit too much on the top paper. I hit the background with it, so at one point I'm going to have to ink that side up a little bit and get it on that background, just because because I did it with the other sides. And you're losing my background frame there because it's the same color as my mat, obviously. All right, so now I'm looking at embellishments, and I'm going to use this cut apart tag paper here. That is from the Amy Tangerine 12 by 12 paper pad as well. I think it's the Rise, or it's from a paper pad. I'm pretty sure it's Rise and Shine because I don't think I had any other Amy Tangerine paper pads. But unless you have this paper pad, you're probably not going to be able to go out and get it because that is a couple of years old at the very for sure, at least a couple of years old. So I cut around the tag except for that bottom scallop border there. I just left that, and it's funny because that border is going to get hidden in the end anyway. I am also cutting out a label from this label cut apart paper here, which is often how I use these papers. Two labels actually, a gray and a minty aqua colored one as well, and that is from the Rise and Shine 12 by 12 paper pad. That I know for sure. Now I'm just looking at some of the other pieces that I pulled. I just pulled a whole bunch of stuff in that had that minty green in to try to decide if I would use it, or if I could use it. So now I have this heart frame paper that I'm cutting pieces from as well, and that is from Amy Tangerine Stitched, and it's the Moments paper from that line. So I'm going to cut a few of those pieces up, and right now I don't have a complete plan where anything is going to go. I just am cutting pieces and working that way. I didn't have that many die cuts that had this color in, so I just sort of went with it. Now that happy sticker there is from an ages old sticker sheet from Amy Tangerine. It's from the +1 sticker sheet. and it's at the accent and phrase stickers from that. And now I'm looking at another sticker here, and it's a clear sticker, and it says, I think it's, oh, I have it right here, Explore Travel Goodness. I rarely use these clear stickers just to a background because I do so many patterned backgrounds, but I do what I'm doing here, and that is to put it on a piece of white cardstock, and then I just cut around it and make it a die cut instead of a sticker. If I used white backgrounds, they would make more sense, but I don't use them very often. So that Explore Goodness, Travel Goodness is from Amy Tangerine, Yes Please, the accent and phrase stickers. And then I also have that piece of chipboard there from the Dear Lizzie, and I'm losing it, so I have to find it on my list here. Hold on a second, guys. Oh, and maybe oh yeah, I did put it down. The Dream Big chipboard is from Dear Lizzie Fine and Dandy, the chipboard pack, and it is called Darling Details. So I glued that tag down before I remembered that I needed to ink it. I want to ink everything here just because it's all sort of the same monochromatic colorway, and the ink will help them stand off from each other, especially with the embellishments that I'm going to use. So that's a hint for you. If you're doing a monochromatic layout, ink your edges because that will really help them, I guess. You know, my layers here are okay because you know, even though the leaves and that polka dot paper are pretty much the same color, the leaves have so much white in it that it's okay. All right, so I'm just kind of playing around here with how I want to use these, and I found I'm kind of playing with where does the gray frame go, where does the aqua frame go, and just kind of putting them in the place I think everything is going to land on the final version, and then I can kind of refine things from there. I decided to cut that heart down a little bit. It just sat better if I did that. And I'm going back and forth because I'm not loving how it's laying up, although once I do that to it, I like it much better. All right, just inked edges, and I am putting ATG on that chipboard there just because it was, it'll come off. What do you want to say? You know, that adhesive dries out, and even though I live in a pretty humid climate. And when I just was inking that green frame, I got ink all over the face of it and decided, oh, what the heck, I have tons of these. I'm just going to ink them, or I'm going to just cut another one. I really like when I can do things like this, you know, just extend that. I do have papers for most of these collections left, so it's kind of nice that I can use some of the cut aparts to help make the embellishments last longer. Not that I don't have die cuts left as well too, but not anywhere near as many. Especially that Rise and Shine collection. When you buy a paper pad, those papers last forever. All right, so I decided I needed something to ground that happy and that minty green frame there from the background. It was all too much of the same color, so I took that gray label and cut that, and then I grabbed another label there, another gray label, and I'm going to use that to give some variance to the bottom cluster there. Plus I felt like it ended abruptly after the Dream Big, so I wanted a little bit more paper in there. And it's just looking here like it's too big to me, that it was too long. So I'm going to actually switch how these go. I'm going to put the larger side of the label to the right and the smaller side to the left. All right. So that is working pretty well. Now I just need to cut up this other green label because that I'm going to put on the top near the Explore die cut now since I turned it into that. I'm going to layer those up. And I like that, but I'm not going to pop up the Explore Travel Goodness. A lot of times I'll put that on my foam, but I'm going to need some more dimension there. So I will solve that eventually. Of course I will, right? I went to my thickers and I found this alpha immediately, and oh my gosh, it's perfect. So this alpha is a chipboard alpha from the American Crafts Thickers. It's the Dear Lizzie Treasure alpha. They also made this alpha in like a peachy color too, but oh, this is so perfect for this layout. I was so excited. And it's really pretty. It has like clear glitter, but it's chunky. So it's just a really cool alpha. Now I will be honest with you, so I just threw it on my paper to kind of test how that was going to look, and I didn't have another W, but I looked and the W's are also the same letter as an M in this particular collection, so I used it. And then I realized as I was doing this, I better get this glued down if I'm going to actually line up a title on top of it. So then, because that has glitter, you're not going to see this because I didn't think of this until after I shut my camera off, but I am going to take my Wink of Stella pen and I'm going to add glitter details to every one of my embellishments except for the puffy sticker and the chipboard, just a little bit. So I'm not sure if you'll pick it up in the still shots, but if you can see it, there, you know, if you happen to be able to see it anyway, they are there. All right, so here's where I went and looked at the thought about the puffy stickers. I'm also going through the Chamel hashtag sticker book to see if I can come up with anything else. But those colors seem to be a little more aqua than mint. And I thought about that camera, but if you see how that's calling, I mean, all you're seeing in those clusters is that camera. It's totally drawing your eye to it because it's so dark compared to everything else on this page. So I am going to abandon that, and actually did another layout just for my own channel and used it on the next layout because I had so many papers pulled. I just found another photograph that this worked with and did another layout, which that's a really nice way to scrap because I had everything out. All right, so now I grabbed these puffy heart stickers from Elle Studio, the Live Laugh Love collection, and they are just called puffy stickers, and I'll scatter those around my layout. And I start off with like 3 of them, but I decide I really need more. And because I have to use odd numbers, I grab a 5th one so that I now have 5 of those stickers on my layout. I really love how this looks, you know, the neutral with the gray and then just the monochromatic of the aqua. Here's the still shot, couple of detail shots. Hope you guys are all well. We'll be back with another layout again soon. Bye!